In the Hamilton, New Zealand temple, the lighting firm that the church brought in from Heber City, Utah, have chandeliers on sale from $2 to $. I hate to think what the custom chandeliers in the Hamilton temple cost. Hi everyone, Nemo here. Welcome to an even more granular look at LDS temple building. In the last video, we looked at the church's use of HVAC systems at least 5 times the cost of comparable projects. One commenter suggested that the overly expensive HVAC may be due to high standards around how quiet the system should be. It's a fair point, but it seems no amount of overly expensive HVAC could save the temples that Gordon B. Hinckley announced in 1998. Ultimately, 38 temples would be made using an almost identical design. A few more would be made with a very similar design, but tweaks for square footage. As of 2023, Columbus, Ohio, Raleigh, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Montreal, Quebec in Canada, Baton Rouge in Louisiana, Asuncion in Paraguay, and Oklahoma City in Oklahoma have all been renovated. Apparently, the problem, at least for some, was mold. It would seem that the uniform temple design failed to account for the humid environments of non-Utah locations, particularly, according to an article from This Week in Mormons, Baton Rouge, Raleigh, Oklahoma, and Memphis. The 4 temples in question were all clad in white marble quarried in Vermont, which has been used in 10 smaller temples, or approximately 21% of all Hinckley smaller temples. Every temple using this cladding is in the eastern United States, and most of them in or near the south, except for Columbus and Detroit. Other temples are covered in granite, which is less porous than marble and has been in use regularly, but not exclusively, in temples with colder and wetter climates. One Latter-day Saint close to the temple renovation work offered the following insight. The white marble cladding is so porous that it absorbed water and grew mold within the former temple's walls. It's apparent that the people designing and building it didn't know how to build for our area. The same thing happened 50 years ago when the church started building meeting houses in the south. The building department learned this. Why didn't they apply that knowledge to building temples for this area? Temples that have to be ripped back to the stud work don't sound like high quality structures to me. And as we're about to see, church contractors and church leaders have spoken to the high quality of LDS temples. Now, the quality of a temple surely doesn't just refer to how expensive and rare or how high quality the materials themselves are, but also the manner in which they're assembled and the care with which those materials are chosen. Do you remember Doug Welling, president of Jacobsen Construction? Well, he said, building a temple utilizes the highest quality in every material, and every fashioning of that material has to be the absolute best. Assembling a temple is a unique building experience. We all have a desire to produce the very best workmanship for the house of the Lord, implementing innovative design and materials of the highest quality in an economical way that will allow the project to continue. Scott Whiting also speaks to the quality of the workmanship, this time regarding the Laie, Hawaii renovations. He tells a story of gritty walls and a slightly asymmetrical window that were to be replaced at great cost, even though, as he tells it, these imperfections wouldn't have been seen.
Plywood walls with a little grit and a window with a little asymmetry require additional work and even replacement when few human hands or eyes would ever know. Why was a contractor held to such standards? As I exited the temple, deep in thought, I found my answer as I looked up at the refinished exterior and saw these words, "Holiness to the Lord, the house of the Lord."
And I want to be clear here, the renovation of a temple in and of itself isn't a sign of poor quality. All buildings will need a freshen up, and as new technologies develop, the temples deserve to be retrofitted to enhance their quality and longevity. The Salt Lake Temple renovation is one that comes to mind. But tearing a building back to the studs due to mold would indicate poor design quality and poor material choice from the outset. In these older temples like the Laie, Hawaii temple that now need renovations, we get a glimpse into the fixtures and fittings of the temples as well as the companies who provide them. In the Hamilton, New Zealand temple, the lighting firm that the church brought in from Heber City, Utah, have chandeliers on sale from $3,120 to $13,480. I hate to think what the custom chandeliers in the Hamilton temple cost. It would seem a company called Bentley Mills out of California does all the carpets for the LDS celestial rooms, and their stock carpet, according to prices that they gave to the New York state government, ranged from $20 to $50 per square foot. I don't know a lot about carpet, so any carpet experts let me know what you would expect from a custom carpet in terms of cost and whether Bentley Mills seems expensive. Let me know below the like button. In the Rome, Italy temple, the Bentley Mills carpets were laid by Commercial Flooring Systems of Utah. Are we really saying that a local Italian firm could not have laid the carpets, but instead a Utah commercial flooring firm had to fly workers to Italy just to lay the carpets? And that's not the only place where you could say they went overboard on the Rome temple. They sent a team to the Church of Our Lady in Copenhagen to 3D scan the Christus and all the apostles before using very expensive Carrara marble from the Michelangelo quarry to produce exact replicas for the visitors centre. Just have a listen to some of the other materials that went into the Rome temple. Stones used in the floor patterns are Senia marble, quarried in Spain, and Mediterranean beige travertine, quarried in Italy. Skylark marble, quarried in Brazil, Emperado light marble, quarried in Turkey, and lapis lazuli are used as accents. In other areas of the temple, Afyon sugar, Jerusalem gold marble and limestone, quarried in Turkey, and Crema Marfil marble, quarried in Spain, are utilised. The stained glass work was done by Haldeman Studios and Glass Art Institute. According to their website, on the upper end of their price scale, which is where you would assume a temple would sit due to the quantity of stained glass work, they've done projects costing as much as $560,000. A fun little side note, lead artist Cameron Oscarson is the first cousin once removed of Bonnie Oscarson, former General Young Women's president. And finally, the temple has over 200 decorative lighting fixtures, most made of Murano glass from Venice, Italy, with designs ranging from simple organic textures to carved bowls. 9 chandeliers using Australian Swarovski Strass crystal and 24-karat gold custom banding are featured in the instruction rooms. The Celestial Room chandelier contains rectangular prisms. The shape is repeated in the ceiling ley light. The Grand Stair chandelier, inspired by Chihuly, incorporates the Venetian leaf pattern. All were manufactured by Rocco Borghese of London, England. Why do these temples need to be so opulent? These are multi-million-dollar buildings. For example, we know the Brisbane, Australia temple, constructed as one of the 38 smaller format temples in the early 2000s, still cost $11.5 million. And according to the Church News, while the church has since discontinued the practice of announcing project costs for new temples and other significant buildings, the Washington temple was reported to have cost approximately $15 million, including furnishings. That was between 1968 and 1974. Adjusting for inflation for the median year, 1971, the Washington DC temple cost $113 million. What is the scriptural basis for such opulence, for such expensive buildings? Because I can think of a few LDS scriptures that would go against that idea.
For behold, ye do love your money, your substance, your fine apparel, the adornment of your churches, more than you love the poor and the hungry, the sick and the afflicted.
2 Nephi 28. Yea, they have all gone out of the way, they have become corrupted. Because of pride, and because of false teachers and false doctrine, their churches have become corrupted, and their churches are lifted up. Because of their pride, they are puffed up. They rob the poor because of their fine sanctuaries. They rob the poor because of their fine clothing, and they persecute the meek and the poor in heart, because in their pride they are puffed up.
Since the beginning of time, our Heavenly Father has spoken with great clarity on this subject. From the gentle plea, "If thou lovest me, thou wilt remember the poor and consecrate of thy properties for their support," to the direct command, "Remember in all things the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted, for he that doth not these things, the same is not my disciple," to the very forceful warning, "If any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion, according to the law of my gospel, unto the poor and the needy, he shall, with the wicked, lift up his eyes in hell, being in torment."
Temples are built with tithing money. Money given in faith not just by the wealthy Marriott family or the Osmonds, but by poor, impoverished members around the world. Is this opulence a good use of the wealth of the former and the sacrifice of the latter? When temples were built to the highest standards by the sacrifice and toil of the members themselves, buildings like the Salt Lake Temple stand as a testament to the dedication and devotion of those early members. When the same high standards and beyond are achieved by spending inordinate amounts of money on professional builders and workers, some of whom are related to senior church leaders, the expense seems more like showing off the church's wealth and just somewhat wasteful. As always, I want to hear what you think. And if you found this helpful, make sure you hit the like button and consider becoming a monthly donor to help me continue to research these kinds of videos. I can promise you, I won't be buying any $3,000 chandeliers. They're just not my style, really. And if you didn't catch last week's video detailing the contractors that build LDS temples and their link to the LDS Church, well then go ahead and click right here.